Hello everyone, and welcome to my Days of Lies official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. According to the Wednesday, September 27, Days of Our Lives spoilers recap, Ava Vitale was upset with Harris Michaels in a London cafe since Susan Banks hadn't been sending any more signals. Harris saw a E in the crumbs where his scone had been after Ava screamed out for Susan's assistance. Harris informed Ava after conducting online research and discovering a 25-year-old wedding announcement for Susan and Edmund Crumb, Adam Kane. Ray Fernandez and Jada Hunter returned to Harris and Ava's hotel and used the keycard the front desk receptionist had given them to enter the couple's room. Naturally, Ava and Harris weren't there, but Jada discovered the altered passports Wendy Shin had made for them. The police wondered why Harris and Ava would go to London rather than someplace off the grid, while Rafe and Jada waited for Harris and Ava to return. Rafe reasoned that Ava and Harris might be running towards something rather than away from it, so he chose to phone Trip Johnson for further details. On Wednesday's episode of Days, Trip found Wendy online looking for a new job when he got home from his shift. Trip was reassured by Wendy that he wasn't to blame for E.J. Dimmerer's decision to terminate her because she had been ordered to remain out of the situation. Wendy questioned how Rafe got Trip to talk once he started providing Rafe details about where Ava was. Wendy pushed Trip for the truth as she grew more inquisitive and resisted his attempts to deflect the issue. When Trip revealed that Rafe had threatened to pursue Wendy if he didn't cooperate, she erupted at the thought of Rafe making him pick between his mother and girlfriend. Wendy was shocked that Trip had chosen her and questioned his reasoning. Trip admitted it was because he loved Wendy since he thought it was apparent. Wendy understood Trip's reticence to say it was due to Ali Horton's, Lindsay Godfrey, refusal to say it back after he mentioned he had been wanting to for some time. Wendy eventually acknowledged she was in love with Trip as well, despite her insistence that it wouldn't be the same with her. Before deciding to celebrate in the bedroom, Wendy gave Trip a kiss before Rafe's call cut them off. Trip frantically divulged how they were looking for a living Susan in the hopes that it would help his mother's case after Rafe informed him that Scotland Yard had Ava and Harris under arrest. Trip realized he had been tricked after Rafe promised to tell him when he found Ava and exploded as he told Wendy what had happened. Jada was also updated by Rafe of Susan's potential survival, so they discussed whether the information was accurate. On Wednesday's DOL episode, Philip Kyriakis, Jean-Paul Lavoisier, said he wanted to check on Chloe Lane, Nadia Bjorlin, because he knew she had revealed Victoria Horton's paternity to Xander Cook, Paul Telfer. Chloe worried that Sarah Horton and Rex Brady wouldn't be as accepting now that the truth was out, despite Philip's assurances that he understood why she did it. Even though Xander tried to convince Chloe that this news didn't change anything, she was insistent that the wedding would not go ahead. Philip had mentioned that Sarah and Rex had already been married when Chloe sent Xander to visit Sarah at the tavern. Additionally, Chloe admitted to listening in on the other side of Philip's conversation and claimed she overheard enough to infer that he might still be in love with her. Chloe eventually admitted as a result that she had also loved Philip before he had come back to life. Although Chloe had been attempting to deny it, it had been a part of her since she was a teenager and could no longer be rejected. After asking Chloe if she was admitting she still had feelings for him, Philip changed his mind and decided she shouldn't say anything because of how she was feeling at the time. Chloe was adamant that this had nothing to do with what had happened with Xander and was confident Philip wouldn't take advantage of her predicament. That was something the old Philip would have done, but Chloe was aware that Philip had changed since receiving the assistance he required. On his way out, Philip told Chloe that he should probably leave, but promised to always be there for her. Wednesday's episode of Days featured Xander pressing Sarah for an explanation of why she had lied about Victoria's paternity. Sarah reiterated Xander's contribution to Susan's demise because she didn't want her daughter to grow up with a criminal for a father. Sarah questioned whether Xander also regretted collaborating with Gwen Research, Emily O'Brien, and stealing The Spectator from Jack Devereaux, despite Xander's insistence that he did not. Instead of accepting Maggie Kyriakis' financial assistance, Sarah reported that Xander had moved the group into a roach motel and turned kidnapper. Although Xander claimed it was truly Victor Kyriakis' money, he refused to accept a cent from Victor after the way he had treated him. Sarah drew attention to the fact that Xander accepted Ava's ransom money while acting as though he hadn't made enough of an attempt to locate a genuine job. Sarah argued that she lied to Xander about Victoria's paternity in the same way that he insisted he did what he believed he had to do. Despite Xander's complaints that Rex was a liar and a frequent cheater, Sarah exposed all of Xander's previous transgressions. Xander vowed never to hurt his own child, but Sarah remained adamant about her choice. When Rex showed there, Xander growled that Rex could leave with Sarah for their honeymoon while he got to know his daughter. Rex explained to Xander that since he was married to Sarah and his name was on the birth certificate, he was legally recognized as the father. Rex cautioned about the contentious legal battle that lay ahead and emphasized that no judge would support a convicted felon over two highly regarded doctors. Xander pretended that a short DNA test would change that. Xander swore to be a part of Victoria's life and that he wouldn't be stopped by Sarah or Rex. Xander intended to battle for Victoria with more vigor than he ever had before. In the Wednesday episode of Days, Sarah and Rex stood there looking quite distressed as Xander stomped out. Keep an eye on Days of Our Lives, since spoilers indicate that a bitter custody dispute is developing. Visit CDL frequently for the most intriguing Days of Our Lives spoilers, news, and updates. Spoilers for Days remain. Alex was devastated to learn that Victor, not Justin, is the father of his child. He found it difficult to process the news regarding his paternity as well as his right to receive a portion of Victor's fortune. However, Alex, Robert Scott Wilson, has recovered in the past. He will recover once more. Will he immediately start working at the position he believes he ought to have held all along? Maggie is genuinely loved by Alex. Sincerely, he was relieved to learn that Maggie would receive half of Victor's estate under his new will, which excluded Vivian. He desired that his aunt receive attention. He was also incensed to learn that Justin Wally Kurth, Victor's favorite nephew, and the closest thing he had to a real son, did not receive the other half. Beau is indeed his biological child, yes. No, he was never more Kyriakis than Brady, aside from his peculiar, indoctrinated state. However, Alex later learned that he was the legitimate heir. Alex still believed he was entitled to be Titan's CEO even after learning that he was only Victor's great-nephew. He went out and struck agreements, and he only stopped when Victor fired him and replaced him with Maggie. Alex has a point to make, and he has the tools to do it now. Alex admitted to Justin that, when he imagined himself to be his son, he liked to think that, thanks to his father, he might have some redeeming qualities. That ambition is gone now that he is aware that his birth parents were both terrible people. Therefore, in principle, Alex could channel his inner Uncle Vic and become a full-fledged wicked mogul. But Justin still has some of himself in him, not to mention Adrienne, Judy Evans, who was a living saint and who was more like a mother to him than Angelica. Alex and Maggie can therefore split the CEO role until Alex decides whether to follow the advice of the angel or the devil on his shoulder, as Victor would have preferred. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, so please don't forget to subscribe my channel and don't miss any update.